During a live stream of a foal's birth, the camera cut out, right as something impossible began to unfold. The newborn wasn't just strange. It watched, learned, and moved like it didn't belong in this world. But Calvin called in someone who knew how to face the unexplainable, and what they discovered changed everything. Now see how one terrifying step turned into a revelation, and why justice, in the end, found its way back. The Texas night settled over the Harris Ranch like a warm, velvet curtain. Crickets chirped in rhythm with the soft rustle of mesquite trees, and the sky shimmered with stars so bright they seemed alive. A breeze carried the scent of dust, hay, and distant bluebonnets. It was the kind of night that felt ancient, too quiet, too perfect, like the world was holding its breath. Inside the birthing stall, the soft golden glow of a hanging lantern cast gentle shadows on the weathered wood. The Harris family stood close together. Calvin, the ranch's broad-shouldered patriarch, with calloused hands and eyes that had seen 30 years of sunrise over the same hills. Maggie, his even-tempered wife, with quiet strength in her every movement. And Ellie, their 15-year-old daughter, camera in hand, her heart pounding with anticipation. They had waited months for this. Their prized mare, Savannah, was finally going into labor. Not just any horse. Savannah was a third-generation Tennessee walker, graceful and intelligent, with a coat that gleamed like polished copper in the sun. Calvin had raised her from a foal and promised Ellie that this birth would be her first step toward one day running the ranch herself. "Cameras live," Ellie whispered, tapping her phone. A small tripod captured everything: the soft snorts of Savannah, the shimmer of sweat on Calvin's brow, and the mounting tension in the stall. Their YouTube channel, Harris Homestead Wonders, had a loyal following, and tonight, thousands were watching. "Easy now, girl," Calvin murmured as Savannah shifted her weight, breathing harder. He knelt beside her, one large hand resting gently on her neck, steady and calming. Maggie wiped Savannah's side with a warm cloth, while Ellie filmed in near silence, her eyes wide, her lips pressed tight. Then it happened. With one final push, Savannah gave a low grunt, and the foal slid free, landing in a tangle of legs and steam and wet fur. For a moment, no one spoke. "Look at him," Ellie breathed, her voice barely audible over the soft whinny of the mare. "He's beautiful." He was, lanky and fragile, trembling, his tiny chest rising and falling fast. Calvin's face softened with awe as he stepped back to give him space. But then something shifted. Just 5 seconds after being born, the foal jolted, not squirmed, not rolled, leapt onto his legs like a startled deer. The movement was unnatural, sharp, as though he'd skipped every instinct of newborn weakness. Ellie took a step back, blinking. "Dad," she said, uncertain. The colt's legs buckled, then straightened too far, bending forward at an angle they shouldn't. Something shimmered just beneath his slick skin, like light refracting underwater. Calvin froze. The camera glitched. The colt turned its head toward the lens, and in that breathless moment, it took a single step forward. The screen went black. By morning, the internet was on fire. The live stream had ended with a blackout. No outro, no signal loss warning, just a harsh, abrupt cut. Viewers flooded the comments, speculating, screenshotting, slowing the final seconds frame by frame. Within hours, reaction videos were popping up across YouTube. Titles ranged from "Glitch or Government" to "Foal stands like a man, camera cuts out." Theories spun wildly. Some blamed AI editing, others cried hoax, and a growing number whispered about intervention. The Harris family said nothing publicly. They shut down the barn, locked the stall, took the stream offline. Inside, things weren't calm. Savannah, once the gentlest mare on the property, had become territorial, even toward Calvin. Anytime someone approached, she positioned herself between them and her foal, ears pinned back, eyes wild. She hadn't eaten. She barely slept. And the foal? He never closed his eyes. Ellie noticed it first, sitting alone on the hayloft steps at 2 a.m., clutching her hoodie and watching through the slats. The colt stood perfectly still, staring at the wall for hours. His eyes weren't brown or blue like a normal newborn's. They were violet, deep, glowing, unnatural. and when the wind swept across the pasture, she heard a low hum rise from the ground. Not a sound exactly, more like a pressure. Like the earth itself was humming in sync with the thing in their barn. Ellie didn't sleep much after that. On the third night, Calvin left a small GoPro mounted outside the barn gate, just in case. It had night vision, audio, and motion activation. He didn't expect much, but the footage it recorded left them speechless. At exactly 3:11 a.m., the foal walked up to the steel gate. No stumbling, no baby steps, just steady movement. He lowered his head slightly and walked forward. The gate didn't swing open. It didn't break. It didn't creak. It vanished. Or rather, it looked like the Colt moved through it, as if the metal was made of smoke. Maggie watched the footage once, then dropped the tablet and fainted cold on the kitchen floor. Calvin and Ellie ran outside, their boots slapping against damp dirt, half expecting to find nothing. And they were right. The paddocks were empty. All 12 horses gone. No hoofprints in the mud, no broken fence, no signs of panic or escape, just open silence. Except for one small detail, Savannah and the foal still stood near the center of the field, utterly still. Not grazing, not breathing hard, just waiting. That was the moment Calvin made a decision he hadn't made in over a decade. He called Alan Scowell, an old friend from his Army days. Dr. Alan School was a retired field biologist with a shadowy past and a no-nonsense demeanor. He had a reputation for solving the unusual, quietly. By sunset, Alan was there. He shook no hands, asked no questions, just reviewed the footage on a laptop in Calvin's office, replaying the moment of the gate over and over. Then he stood up, rubbing his chin. "It's not a foal," he said flatly, eyes still on the screen. "It's something mimicking one." Calvin blinked. "Mimicking?" Alan nodded, slowly. "It's wearing the right shape, but it's not of here, and it didn't end up on this ranch by accident." His words hung in the air like thunder before a storm. Alan wasted no time. Inside the barn, the air was cold, 10 degrees colder than outside. His equipment flickered instantly. Electromagnetic surges pulsed in irregular waves around the stall, as if space itself was unstable. Ellie stayed near the Colt, drawn to it but wary. It didn't act like a foal. It watched them, calm, intelligent, not curious, aware. It never once looked at its mother. By the 6th night, Alan installed a hidden camera. No lights, no sound. What it recorded at 2:14 a.m. stunned them all. The Colt stood alone, still, then a voice, not heard but felt. "Your forms are flawed, but your hearts are worth understanding. I came not to harm. I came to begin. The first step." Then it moved. The ground trembled. Outside, wind chimes rang with no breeze. In the sky, faint northern lights shimmered over Texas. And then, nothing. Come morning, Savannah and the Colt were gone. No struggle, no signs. Only one thing remained, a single footprint in the straw, small, human, and barefoot.